Love. A primal feeling that is inherent in mankind. When one feels it, nothing else in the world matters. For some, love reaches its zenith in union. According to Plato, people feel incomplete because they are missing their other half, as the gods had torn mortals asunder and are thus forever seeking the other to make them whole. In religion, marriage sanctifies the union in the eyes of God. Throughout human history, such a union has been between a man and a woman. But, over the past 50 or so years, the definition of love has expanded to include same-sex couples, and the fracas from the marriage debate has riled society both in the secular and religious spheres. But what about interspecies love? Meet Diana Kuhn of Cropper City. She's a 28-year-old project manager for an engineering firm, and she stirred up people because Diana is married to a dog. Well, I dated men and women, and in both cases I came out disappointed. I never got anything out of them. My ex-partners were just too consumed with trying to look a certain way, accomplish something in life, or focus too much on their friends and never on me. And it was excruciating. It led to fights, disappointment, and resentment. I remember after I dumped my ex 3 years ago, I swore I'd never fall in love again, no matter how tempting it may be. Every time I broke up with someone, I'd just go to my friend's house and play with their dog, Biscuit. Tara and John, Biscuit's owners, began noticing some odd behavior from Diana. She would constantly play with Biscuit instead of hanging out with them, and would often take their dog out for days on end. We didn't know what to make of it at first. She'd ask us, "Can I dog sit Biscuit for you this weekend?" It was an odd request because he was tearing up the house and we had to deal with personal emergencies, so this was actually welcome. But then she just asked us regularly, and soon we found out she'd take Biscuits to resorts, the beach, and other places. And when they confronted Diana, she dropped a bombshell that rocked their friendship to the core. She said she was in love with Biscuit, and she wanted our permission to marry him. I mean, I'm by no means a stickler, but this really came as a shock to us. Tara and John didn't take it too well at first, but over time they began to see how much Biscuit and I loved each other. Eventually, Tara and John gave their consent. In a small ceremony, they were married and began their new life together. However, this didn't go down too well with the rest of the town, who saw this as an abomination. Marriage is between a man and a woman. That's how God ordained it, and that's how it should be. Seriously, what are we, the ancient Greeks? We left that past behind millennia ago. We're better than this. We cannot just devolve back into bestiality and such. I mean, what's next? She's gonna give birth to a half-human, half-dog kid? Diana herself met resistance from her other friends and family. When I announced that I was officially married to Biscuit, 50 of my high school friends immediately unfriended me on Facebook, and my college roommate with whom I did everything bluntly said she never wanted to speak with me ever again. My mom has been supportive. Well, I hope this was just a phase. I hope she'd come to find the right man to sweep her off her feet and marry her. I mean, that's all we want for our little girl. I blame society. They start clamoring how everyone has rights and can do whatever they want, and now this has happened. And how has this affected you? My job, I'm constantly the butt of jokes. I can't show my face at my local hangout anymore, and we stopped going to church as a result. We now do church online to avoid the stares and mockery. I mean, why can't she just think of others before doing something so asinine? But Diana doesn't care. I've been through a lot, and have been trying to find the one person that would complete me. I never dreamed in a million years that it'd be my best friend's dog, but I'm so glad. It makes me feel like I'm the only person in the world that matters. But things aren't entirely rosy for the couple. Diana is not advocating for rights for her canine spouse, including being granted American citizenship. I took up the case because it represents a serious imbalance in the American system. I mean, we've only begun recognizing the rights of minorities and homosexuals. 60 years ago, interracial marriages would have brought on shame. 20 years ago, gay marriage brought revulsion. But in all these cases, it was Americans marrying Americans, given the natural rights owed to any citizen of this country. So what do you plan to do? Well, we're gonna fight this case tooth and nail. No pun intended. We're going to show that as Biscuit was born and raised in this fine country, that makes him an American citizen and entitled to the same rights as everyone else. Others, however, aren't so convinced. The matter is ridiculous, diversionary, and unmeritorious. Nowhere in the Constitution does it extend rights to animals, even if they were born and raised in this country. Right, but the same could be said to women, slaves, and Native Americans. True. But that has been rectified over the history of the United States as amendments were added to include them as part of the greater American family. And you don't think this will happen in Biscuit's case? Or anything similar? That would require an act of Congress, and that comes from the American people. An act like that will never pass. You can quote me on that. I've already written to my congressman about this and to the lieutenant governor. They haven't responded, but I'm going to raise hell on this. It is unfair that my husband cannot enjoy the same rights as me. They're treating him like he's some sort of animal. But he is an animal. Well, not to me, he isn't. And there you have it. The first case of interspecies marriage. While Diana has a lot of detractors, she also has seen a lot of support. People on social media have congratulated the happy couple, and there's a campaign to raise money for her legal fees. Last time we checked, they were up to $2,060. Wherever this case goes, it will certainly leave an impression on society.